arguably the most valuable skill of all time. Throughout history, communication has been used to make deals, to convince people, to save your life. Communication, think about it as the most valuable currency, because it can get you a lot of things, but it can also take away a lot of things. And that's why it's so important not only to know what it does, but how to improve your communication. So first I'll start off with some moments that's helped me. Well, it's helped me in everyday life, speaking from person to person, keeping conversations going by being engaging, which is always super important. Also, when I found myself in, kind of tough situations where my back's kind of against the wall, when you know how to talk, it's very easy to speak your way out of it, especially when you practice, because you're 10 times better than everyone else around you at speaking. When you're able to show your point through, back it up, and do all that without being, what? That is so, so valuable. You sound like you know exactly what you're talking about, even if you have no clue. Because a big realization that you need to have, it's the way you say things, not what you actually say. When you sound convincing, people don't actually process what you're doing, what you're saying. So, how do we actually get better at communication? Well, first I'll speak on kind of what I've done, but then I can kind of say the general things. But I like to do what works for me because I can speak from actual experience. So I kind of brought things down to the four main topics, which is tonality, speed, not going or so like tempo, you could say, but that's also speed, and volume. So those are all things that you can change, and change is what keeps the mind engaged actually. So when you're always, not always, but every once in a while, changing volume, changing speed, changing, I don't know, but different things, and just not stuttering, that's a big part of it. But when you're constantly switching it up, also speaking with your hands, body language is always super important. Like right now I'm doing this off the fly, but with practice, with communication, it's really easy to express yourself. But those are kind of the four main things, and I'm not really going to get into depth on them, but just know those are the four main things. So how do we actually practice them? I know a way that has helped some people, which is setting reminders literally every single hour of the day, like speed, volume, not stuttering, like those four things, and body language, obviously, which can help. But I feel like the way I've actually mostly improved, like drastically and fast, is by making these videos. When you are kind of forced for people to judge you in terms of speech, and you need somebody to value your speech, you're very particular in the way you word things and the way you speak. So it's got to be perfect. And since it's on camera, you can always look back and see where you made the mistake. So that's kind of crunched me into speaking better. But another way that has always helped is it's good to always be in debates, because you got to think fast on your feet, but you also got to learn how to talk with conviction, and in a direct manner. But you also got to keep the people who, if there's other people listening, you got to keep them engaged, and you got to prove your point, which is everything in life, obviously. So those are the kind of the three main things. I do have those reminders set on my phone, by the way, but I feel like they don't really work too well for me. But the other two definitely did work, and especially the recording. So even if you don't post on YouTube, I think it can be super important to talk in front of a camera about anything you want, and better if it's something you want to prove or have conviction with. And then a last little action step is it's always important to watch people. If you're not around people who talk like amazingly, it's super great if you can watch people who have conviction with when they speak, who speak amazingly, you know, just like likes of Andrew Tate. You know, any great podcaster that really comes to mind when you think of great speakers, even like Lex Friedman, if you haven't heard of him. PBD speaks great. Just in the general gist, you can definitely find some very easily. But that's really the reason why they are where they are. By speaking. That's the way you go viral if you really want to know down to the very basics of it. The only way, you know, subtitles and animations and this and that will not save you if you can't speak well. Because down at the core, speaking is what gets you attention in any form. That's pretty much it. Thank you for watching. Work hard.